Denise Gwen, reading aloud from my novella, Goddess, Chapter 10. Madeleine settled herself down on the short stone wall surrounding the fountain, and her mind wandered. And, as with everything these days, her thoughts drifted to her mother. The care of her mother's body had been committed to good, competent people who knew what to do. Madeleine couldn't do anything else today. She had to content herself with merely waiting and continuing to sit on the slate wall surrounding the lady in the fountain, for there was absolutely nothing useful for her to do. Her services were not needed. She was, in all apparent appearances, a fat, useless, handicapped, middle-aged woman. And let's face it, shall we? Oh, for sure. Let's face the bitter truth. Why not? Fat, useless, handicapped, middle-aged women are everywhere, and nobody cares for them. All she could do was sit. All she could do was wait for the day to pass, for her life to pass. It was a beautiful day. She longed to talk to someone. She couldn't talk to her mother anymore. She pulled out her cell phone and dialed the number for a friend who lived in Cincinnati. "Hey," Madeleine said into her cell phone. "It's me." Her good friend Cassie said, "Hey there." Madeleine dove right in. "Well, it happened. My mother died today." "Oh, I'm so sorry." Cassie knew of Madeleine's struggles over the past year. Cassie's own dear mother, Ginny, was struggling with cancer. Madeleine and Cassie had seen Madeleine's mother's death coming in much the same way that Ginny's death was drawing near. Ginny's cancer had seeped into her bones. Her left arm filled up with cancer cells. The doctors performed an operation where they removed the bone from her left arm, scraped the cancer cells off the bone, and then reinserted the bone into her body. Ginny had begged the doctors to simply remove the arm, but they wanted to preserve it for her. The cancer returned. During a follow-up surgery, the doctors removed the cancer-ridden bone and replaced it with a clean cadaver bone. And then, just like a mosquito buzzing in your ear at a picnic, the cancer buzzed back. Cancer, a wasp, a vicious, insistent, and hateful little bastard that won't leave, no matter how many times it's swatted. The cancer seeped back into Ginny's bones, slipped into the bloodstream, and spread throughout the entire body in its relentless march to smite her. At last, the doctor saw the truth of it and removed the left arm, which was what Ginny had wanted all along. Madeleine and Cassie talked, and as they talked, Madeleine looked down at her belly. Her little roll of puppy fat, as her mother had so tactfully called it, had bloomed into a full-grown dog. She squeezed the flesh between her thumb and forefinger. She was fat and she felt ugly. Maddie didn't remember the young woman she'd once been when she'd sat on this very same wall 38 years earlier as a 19-year-old student at IU. Madeleine held the cell phone with one hand and dipped her free hand into the fountain and floated her fingers. The cold, sparkling clear water refreshed her. At least she still had that going for her, the ability to enjoy pleasant sensations. 400 yards down the street, she espied the Hyper building, where she and her sisters attended swim practice, back when they were children and back when they belonged to the Bloomington Swim Club. Their swim practices lasted an hour, and the girls were always famished by the time their mother picked them up, drove them home, and fed them a good, hearty meal. She'd always loved the water.